All right, everyone, a thread from Carlos Oswita. Here's Timcast's Tim Pool's greatest weakness. He refuses to grant Donald Trump agency, the ability to act. Tim says that if Biden chooses Michelle Obama as his running mate, Biden will win. This assertion removes Trump from the equation. And that's what almost everyone does. It's the damnedest thing. Trump has proven his political brilliance too many times to count. And yet it doesn't sink in. Trump is prepared for Michelle Obama. She's literally not a factor for Trump. Do people really understand what Trump has pulled off with COVID-19? No, they don't. I watched some of the Bill Maher and Dan Crenshaw conversation, but I turned it off because I got bored. Here's what I would have said. Mayor says Trump lies, deflects responsibility, blames everyone else, farts in church, cheats at crossword puzzles, and honks his horn in hospital zones. How can someone as smart, moral, and handsome as you support him? Then I would say, because he doesn't do any of those things. Maher, harumph, sir, harumph, I say, in the strongest possible terms. And then I would say, Bill, you're simply making accusations. Trump defends himself against lies, and you hate that. Now, I can prove that your accusations are lies by quizzing you right here and now. If you want, I can ask you if you know specific dates, actions, and responses. These are things that the press hasn't reported, but I found them all on government websites. I don't want to humiliate you on your own show, so I'd rather move on. But if you continue using talking points, I will demand that you answer questions about facts and figures. I have them all in my head, so the choice is yours. Move on or be totally humiliated. What would you like to do? The notion that Trump totally failed in his response to the pandemic is a media lie. The reason they're lying is that they're desperate, but it's a stupid lie that has no half-life. Trump made no mistakes. I'll say it again. Trump made no mistakes. The reason he did things the way he did was that he didn't have time to have press conferences in which he detailed the dishonesty and incompetence of the Chinese and the Democrat governors. Trump had two tasks: save Americans and save the American economy. He did both. There's no point in explaining again that it isn't the mortality rate of COVID-19 that made it so dangerous. It's the number of people who required ventilators, and that was the cause of all the shortages. Personal protection equipment was burned through in order to reduce the spread of the disease and prevent the need for more ventilators. If you can't grasp that, you never will. Trump decentralized the federal response, which made it incredibly fast, nimble, and efficient. Government is the problem. To this day, Democrat governors are still too stupid to know how to perform tests in their own states. Cuomo and Newsom are two exceptions. They understand why a decentralized response is necessary. The press is too stupid even to ask intelligent questions. How many times has Dr. Birx said that she can't oversee every city and county, and the public health officials have to make the decisions? The press is unable to understand. I've been watching Tom O'Neill on the Joe Rogan show make hilarious claims about the CIA, MK Ultra, and Charles Manson being a CIA asset. The problem is that the CIA is a centralized bureaucracy, which means it literally can't get anything done. While it's true that all the documentation about MK Ultra was destroyed, it was a program to figure out how to break people under interrogation. Nobody knows this. It failed because bureaucracies can't get anything done. MK Ultra had multiple programs. Not one person heading those programs cooperated with anyone else, and they all used the programs to satisfy their own bizarre fantasies. It's a huge waste of time and money. Charles Manson was totally illiterate. Every single second of his life is on record because he spent almost all of it in prison. And the CIA doesn't have assets. It's just about the only intelligence agency on the planet that relies on signals intelligence, SIGINT. The CIA has case officers who run people recruited for operations, but those assets in name only contract out to others. So the case officer is 3 or 4 or 5 people removed from the action. It's stupid. The CIA plan to use mafiosos to kill Fidel Castro was known by only the top 6 people in the agency, and it got leaked almost immediately. Think about that. The CIA can't do anything right. You have more to fear from homeless people than the CIA. Trump keeps the majority of his plans to himself. Wisely. He defeated both the pandemic and the threat to the economy. Too many of us just don't want to accept that. Yesterday, for the first time, Trump said he'll be reelected in a landslide. That means he knows it's going to happen. A commercial real estate magnate has to be able to forecast, and Trump has real posters. They tell him the truth. Did you know that Dwight Eisenhower ordered the beginning of the invasion of Europe in the middle of a storm? One young military meteorologist was able to convince Eisenhower that the storm would break right when the invasion fleet landed. So, Eisenhower ordered the fleet to be sent, and he wrote out his resignation letter. Quote, "Our landings in Cherbourg, Havre area have failed to gain a satisfactory foothold, and I have withdrawn the troops. My decision to attack at this time and place was based on the best information available. The troops, the air, and the navy did all that bravery and devotion to duty could do. If any blame or fault attaches to this attempt, it is mine alone." Agency. For whatever reason, only a few of us can see Trump as he is. We're not worried. A quote from Joe versus the Volcano. "My father says almost the whole world's asleep. Everybody you know, everybody you see, everybody you talk to. He says only a few people are awake, and they live in a state of constant and total amazement."